Welcome to the broadcast. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, has summoned Kenyan opposition NASA principals for a crisis meeting. As follows NASA's repeated declarations that they would have a parallel tallying center to ensure they are not cheated in the August general election. As KTN News senior political affairs reporter Duncan Haimba now tells us, the crisis meeting is set for this Thursday.
IEBC peke yake hapana. IEBC itatangaza yao na tutafananisha na yetu.
National Super Alliance chiefs have consistently maintained over the last few weeks that they will set up a parallel tallying center in the high-stakes August election. And now the IEBC has convened an impromptu meeting with NASA bosses on Thursday. The turn of events saw NASA leaders cancel a scheduled news conference on Tuesday after receiving a call from IEBC requesting them to honor the invitation for Thursday meeting.
So we think it would not be right to proceed and take a position before we listen to the IEBC. So we decided to call off this so that we meet the IEBC on Thursday, talk in good faith, and then we'll talk to you after that meeting.
A call that came in just as NASA bosses were having a meeting with a delegation from the National Democratic Institute at Capitol Hill in Nairobi. Sources say IEBC has prevailed upon the principals to stop taking the debate further and instead have the two sides engage on the matter behind the scenes. On Monday, both IEBC and NCCK appeared to read from the same script on the matter.
No, it's about law and order. Now, if somebody announces results which are not correct, you know it's a recipe for chaos.
Politicians are stakeholders who are legitimate, competing in these elections. In law, nobody can be a judge in their own case.
However, in 2013, Jubilee Alliance, whose presidential candidates were Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, had their own tallying center at the Catholic University. In their case challenging Uhuru's win, CORD claimed that Jubilee monitored and tallied their results under a Kencal platform, which caused IEBC servers to hang, forcing the then commission to abandon the electronic results transmission for manual. The Supreme Court refused to admit that kind of evidence, but NASA now says they will not be cheated again. After a series of exchanges through the media on a raft of issues with regard to the 2017 general election, IEBC and the opposition have agreed finally to have a meeting on Thursday, even as NASA remains adamant that come what may, they must set up a parallel tallying center. Who will blink first? Duncan Haimba, KTN, Nairobi.
It is a debate that has continued to elicit mixed reactions from Kenyans as NASA continue to deliberate on where exactly to draw the line. That is the basis of our big question discussion tonight. We are asking you, do you think NASA's plan for a parallel tallying center would interfere with IEBC's mandate? Tell us what you think by texting your yes or no opinion, plus a brief comment, of course, to our studio line 22155. You can join that conversation online as well on Twitter at Ben_Kitili, at KTN News, at KTN Kenya. The hashtag is KTN Prime. Shall be sampling some of your texts as well as tweets. Also, the Director of Public Prosecutions has ordered investigations into the chaos at the ODM rally in Migori yesterday. The rally turned messy as supporters of Governor Okoth Obado clashed with those who had been attending the rally led by ODM Deputy Party Leader Hassan Ali Joho. A section of the ODM officials and elected MPs have been summoned to record statements over the chaos. Speaking at the police headquarters in Migori, Uriri Member of Parliament John Kobado said it was an unfortunate thing to see assassination attempts against the Deputy Party Leader in Migori County. Benedict Kigen, the Migori CID commander, said they have begun investigations and will submit the file to the Director of Public Prosecutions soon.
Jo iliitwa na mbunge wa Migori ambaye ni Junet yetu. Sasa wageni wa mbunge tena governor pia anaangalia wageni wa mbunge. Hiyo ni vibaya.
mtu akiita wageni wake, yeye ndiye anashughulika na wageni wake, angeacha waongee waende.
We as leaders, we apologize to our deputy party leader for the incident, and we would like to invite him to come back again to Migori and be able to talk to our people properly.
Let's stay with the electoral issues now. The three-day joint meeting by the National Council of Churches of Kenya and clergymen from within Nairobi County on securing peaceful elections came to an end today. The religious leaders who were blamed for remaining silent during the 2007-2008 post-election chaos now say they have proposed measures to ensure that the August 8th polls are peaceful and credible.
The faith leaders will preach peace-based sermons and will organize inter-ethnic consultations in their religious premises so as to bring communities together. Special attention will be put on reaching the youth to empower them so that they are not used to perpetuate violence on fellow Kenyans. We will not condone any acts of violence, and so we will remain as players of peace as we coordinate with the other agencies as indicated in our community. And so where such people may come where we are, we would be ready to say this one is promoting violence, and therefore you need to take the responsibility as far as the security of the country is concerned.
Embattled National Lands Commission Chairman Mohammed Swazuri remained on the spot after it emerged that a letter he claimed to have received from the Kenya Railways for the payment of some 82 million Kenya shillings for a piece of land did not exist. Kenya Railways Managing Director Atana Maina disowned the letter before the National Assembly's Lands Committee as the Ministry of Lands dismissed as fake the title deed held by the petitioner in the Swazuri probe. KTN News senior reporter Rita Tinina lays the tales for us.
With a decision to pay just over 82 million shillings as compensation for a piece of land to pave way for the standard gauge railway haunting him, National Land Commission Chairman Mohammed Swazuri last week told the National Assembly's Committee on Lands that the decision was based on a letter from the Kenya Railways saying the land was not part of the railway reserve, meaning it qualified for compensation. But the corporation says such correspondence does not exist.
I have not, from my office and from the corporation, issued any letter to the National Land Commission disowning those properties.
The parcel was among those whose title deeds had been revoked by the National Land Commission. On Monday, NLC commissioners disowned the decision to offer compensation, saying Swazuri unilaterally overturned the commission's decision to revoke the titles and consequently ordered payment for the land. But more intrigues were to follow during the committee's sitting, with the Ministry of Lands confused about its own documents in relation to the piece of land in question.
Certificate of title, which was registered on the 16th of September 2015. Would like to mention that this certificate of title is genuine.
The committee raised issues over discrepancies in the acquisition of land.
A deed plan cannot be issued before the plot is allocated. It should be the other way around. Exactly. Yes.
Mogonjero, who filed the petition against Swazuri, attempted to defend the authenticity of his title deed.
At the time of deed plan, ownership has been determined. You can't prepare a deed plan for nothing.
And that is what I'm trying to say, Chair.
So what
Please
are you saying?
hear me.
The government produced deed plans in 1991?
Yes.
For what?
There were some allocations that time.
But who allocated who?
I don't know.
So you're not the one.
What I'm saying is,
was allocated, then you're not the one.
The ministry had to overturn its earlier statement on the legitimacy of the documents.
Taking into account what has transpired, I want to request Jacob Wino to withdraw. I understand that they were genuine, and I want to put a record that they're not.
From where I sit, we dismiss you as owner of LR number 15100. You're not the owner?
Now, the new developments open a new chapter in the Swazuri probe. Rita Tinina, KTN News.
Also, the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives has stepped in after KTN News ran an investigative story last night on a cooperative society which was accused of fleecing its members. A Keza Sacco society and a sister company had allegedly promised to build houses for its members, but those members say their millions have gone down the drain. The ministry says the Sacco is now under investigations as more victims of the scam came out to speak. Our Dennis Onsarigo has been following the happenings.
The KTN News Crime Desk team ran an investigative expose last night dubbed Vicious Circle, and reactions into what appears as a $1 million shilling scam have been fast and swift.
Now, this thing, I don't know what will happen.
When Anthony Mushiri Maina heard of an investment plan on radio by Ekeza and Gakuyo Sacco Society, the economist says a dream to own a piece of land in Embu was becoming a reality.
So I paid 45,000. That was on May 2014. Later this year, because of lack of money, I went back there. I was told that the plot appreciated. They were not 65,000. It was 75,000. So nilikuwa nimebakisha 10,000. So they demanded I paid 10,000. So when I paid the remaining, I was given this receipt. I was given this receipt, which is written cleared.
Anthony, who showed up at Nyeri Bureau offices, says after payment, he, alongside other members, were driven to a barren land where he was allegedly showed and allocated a piece of land.
Ile kitu ilinishangaza, after being given this one for cleared by Gakuyo Real Estate, wakati tulienda to that parcel, it was unmarked. Haikuwa na bacon. Sasa ile kitu kwanza ilitustua ni kwamba ile parcel unaambiwa plot namba yako is a big shamba lakini haina subdivisions.
Sensing something was amiss, Anthony says he pressed further.
Sasa mimi wakaniambia kuja tutafute plot number 21. Sasa tukatafuta it is like walikuwa wanajifanya wanatafuta plot number 21 lakini haiko juu the whole shamba haina subdivisions.
Anthony becomes the latest victim of a Sacco society and an investment company now at the center of police investigation. 5,000 members promised new houses after parting with more than 100 million shillings have raised the red flag in what is now unfolding into a scam where unsuspecting investors could have lost millions of shillings. In a statement to newsrooms, the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperative Principal Secretary Ali Noor Ismail says Ekeza Sacco Society and Gakuyo Real Estate Company are now entities under investigations. The ministry further says Ekeza Sacco Society was only allowed to operate in Starehe sub-county in Nairobi County alone, and it's not clear how it managed to open branches across the country. In Thika, a group of demonstrators took to the streets of the town where the cooperative society has offices in defense of its operations, as news of mass withdrawals and panic hit the 16,000 strong membership.
Wafanyikazi na wale wengine tunajua kwamba kuna watu wako hapa, wengi wetu tumepewa manyumba. Kuna watu wako hapa, mtu anadrive gari yake kwa barabara through Ekesa. Wengi sana wako hapa na kila mtu, kuna wengine wamewekewa mabiashara. Na nyinyi unyote mko hapa mnajua hivyo.
Mimi nasikia uchungu kwa sababu siwezi kuwa nafanya kazi ya consultants. Nimeanza Ekeza, nimefanya Dolphins, nimeconsult Kiambu Artist Sacco, nimeconsult hata kampuni zingine za real estate.
But thousands of other members are still seeking answers into what now seems to be a scam on a large scale.
Hussein Mohammed for us. Thank you, Hussein. Now, in Uasin Gishu County, one Solomon Kiptar Bey Maritime has plunged into the Uasin Gishu governorship race. Unlike his main rivals for the Jubilee ticket, though, he uses his bicycle to campaign, not out of choice, but because that is what he can afford. Elvis Koskei tells us why Kiptar Bey believes he is the man to beat.
Solomon Maritime Kiptar Bey hopes and prays that he can ride his way to the Uasin Gishu governorship. Imeipasa as a boda rider in Eldoret town, unknown to many, Kiptar Bey is determined to unseat the incumbent, Jackson Kiplag at Mandago. Unlike his competitors, Kiptar Bey presents himself as a down-to-earth, self-made politician. His old bicycle paints a picture of a man so desperate to salvage the poor from manacles of poverty.
Nimeamua kutumia baiskeli, wale watumia magari kubwa kubwa, lakini sisi tukiwa wananchi wadogo wadogo tutaweza kupitisha mwenzetu akiwa pia ako na baiskeli.
As other political players ride on German and Japanese machines, this bicycle to Kiptar Bey is his only earthly possession.
Kila mtu aweza afanya biashara bila kuwa harass, bila kukimbishwa, na kina mama waweze wakuwe na that peace of mind, na pia wajenge familia yao na wasomeshe watoto wao ili waweze kuwa na degree kama jinsi nilivyo.
But Kiptarbei, who used to work in a tea plantation, was rendered jobless after the company went under. Despite many challenges, Kiptarbei has dared his opponents to brace for a David versus Goliath battle.
Ningependa kuambia hawa wenzangu wenye tunang'ang'ana pamoja ya kwamba hii race sio rahisi. Waweze kuamka penye wako, wajue ya kwamba kuna mtu anaitwa Solomon. Na Solomon yeye kwa uwezo wa Mungu yeye amepewa hiyo kiti ya governor wa Uasin Gishu County.
Uasin Gishu County residents have expressed mixed feelings about Kiptarbei's candidacy.
Tunaambia yeye asife moyo. Sisi wakaji wa Uasin Gishu tuko naye bako kwa bako.
Venye ako ampo livi anaweza kajali watu wenye wako down. Sasa hata anajua ni shida gani watu wa bike ama wenye wanatama kuna shida gani. Sasa nafikiria anaweza fanya vizuri, aone ata improve life ya watu wako down aje.
Ako na wapinzani wazito sana. Na kura Mungu akisema we utapita. Si maana ukuwe na baskeli ama gari.
As Solomon Kiptarbei Martin ventures into the murky waters of Uasin Gishu politics, it is a small matter of party primaries that will determine his political future. Elvis Kosgei, KTN News, in Uasin Gishu County.
All the best to my team. Let's now switch to a story that all Kenyans who have attained voting age should probably pay attention to. It was a law that divided both houses of the Kenyan parliament right down the middle, but one that nonetheless got the consent from the legislators despite massive protests from the opposition. The use of a manual backup system for tallying votes in the upcoming elections is now legal. But a group of very young Kenyans may be revolutionizing the manner in which elections can be held in the country. At the Makini Junior School, both voting and tallying is electronic. KTN's Timothy Otieno spent a day with the young ones as they took to the polls.
It's election day at Makini Junior School, and here democracy is on full display. The school compound is awash with campaign posters. Pupils from the school's lower classes are electing their new leaders. No new phenomenon. What is new, however, is the fact that not only will the tallying be electronic, but for the first time ever, the voting exercise itself will be digital.
Voting has gone electronic. So we took it upon ourselves to try and educate our children to vote electronically.
Rowena Odhiambo hopes to one day become Kenya's first female president. But first, the 7-year-old wants to be the junior school's head girl.
To make sure that they vote for me, I will make sure there will be no bribing. I'll just consult them to vote for me. If they vote for me, I will do the best.
She is one among more than 40 pupils seeking elective positions within the school's system. For the playful children, elections are a serious matter, an exercise that even has its election observers to ensure credibility. And here, with the click of a button, aspirants transform into elected leaders in an exercise that has gone digital for the first time ever at the school. And apparently, it doesn't take that much convincing to earn these young ones' votes.
I see you're also in the line for voting. Who are you going to vote for?
Hans.
For which position?
Head boy.
Head boy. Why not any other candidate?
Because the other people aren't my friend.
Okay. Have you been standing in the line for a long time?
No. I would like to vote for Idris Felipe because he's my friend and he has good and he'll help us in this with the school.
For example, if your friend doesn't win, how will you react?
I'll just freak out.
Why?
Because I wanted my friend to win.
The pool of votes is tabulated at the school's computer lab that for today serves as the central tallying center. The transparency of the process ensuring election winners are genuine.
Some people give out sweets so that so that they can vote for you.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
On average, it takes about 5 minutes per pupil to vote across 7 different categories using this integrated electoral system put in place by this institution. A system used by less than 7-year-old students and pupils who are adding their voice to the democratic space created within this system. But what lessons could we learn from these young ones as a country heading into the next general elections that is just 4 months away?
It can actually work. If it has worked for us in a small way, it can also work for us as a country. It just requires for us to actually invest in it and actually nurture also the talent that is in the technology field.
It's a system that brought heated debate at the floor of Parliament. The manual backup system for tallying and counting of votes is now law, despite the fact that voting within itself will still remain manual. For young ones like Jack Onyango, who is casting a vote for the first time ever in his life, the simplicity of this process may not mean much for a 7-year-old at the moment, but perhaps the seeds planted on this day may go a long way in germinating into political and electoral maturity, the kind the country hopes will blossom in the coming future. Timothy Otieno, KTN News.
Speaking about tallying, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IBC has summoned the Opposition National Super Alliance principals for a crisis meeting this Thursday over NASA's repeated declarations that they will have a parallel tallying center to make sure they are not cheated in this year's general election. That has been the basis of our big question discussion tonight. We're asking you, do you think NASA's plans for a parallel tallying center would interfere with the IBC's mandate? Keep sending those texts and tweets. You're watching KTN Prime. When we return, we bring you the Jubilee scorecard. We take a look at the Uhuru Kenyatta cabinet, the past 4 years or so. Stand by for that.